Cameron Steele is off-road racing's unofficial ambassador. When he's not in a race car or on a bike, he is constantly organizing trips to Baja to share his love of off-road racing and Mexico. A second-generation off-road racer, Cameron grew up racing everything from bikes to buggies. After winning championships in multiple classes, Cameron now fields a team of multiple race cars with his crew, the Desert Assassins.
Off-road racing's in the Steele DNA, you know? It was like a full-on in with both feet with my family, you know? My dad took us to the races starting in '71, and then by 1982 I was navigating, co-piloting for him, Johnny Johnson, who at the time was the winningest driver in Baja 1000 history, or in the 80s he was, and a guy named Roy Allen. So where I learned to drive was from those three guys who had won a ton of races. So '82 I started navigating, and then in '85 I started driving, and from there it's just pretty much history. I drove full-time from '85 until I think '92, and my mom had cancer and the family stopped racing until I came back around 2001. You know, after my mom was sick and my dad gave up his career, his business, to stay with my mom, she lived for 6 years fighting cancer. And you know, after that time, I kind of had to like figure out what I was gonna do. You know, I ended up selling cars. I had ridden waves and ridden dirt bikes professionally and raced cars, and I really had no like direction or avenue. So I started selling cars, and that got me working for Joe McPherson. And you know, kind of going by the race shop all the time over there kind of got my juices flowing again. And then I had an opportunity, I think in 2000 or 2001, to come back and drive a 1600 car with my friend Dave Hendrickson. I really owe him a lot for getting me back into desert racing, but I knew that we'd eventually be back in the desert. It's just a matter of when. Of course, once I started doing television commentary and making some money doing that, you know, it started opening up avenues, and then also people start to recognize you from that, so there's opportunities that present themselves. It was pretty cool to get a little bit of nod for being an X Games announcer, but at the same time, you know, my roots are in off-road racing, so it wasn't like announcer dork decides to go racing. It's like racer has to grow up, get a job, and then gets to go back and go racing. Desert Assassins is something that, you know, we were a group of guys just kind of hanging out in the desert, and I came up with the name Desert Assassins, and people that were around me at the time were like kind of like scratching their heads. They're like, I don't know. And I thought it was just controversial enough where people would remember it. And obviously I saw the development of Metal Militia over the years. I called Brian and Larry friends for a long time, and I saw what they did with the brand, and I just saw the family atmosphere, and that's exactly what the Desert Assassins is all about. You know, I mean, we're not copying what the militia does, but I see how they were a group of guys that were tight, and that's what the Desert Assassins are about. It's about the whole family. For me, I'm just me. You know, I grew up riding waves, I grew up riding dirt bikes, I grew up in off-road race cars, and I'm just me. You know, I like to have fun, I like to carry on, I like to have fun people around me. If my bill's flat, my hat's sideways, you know, go ahead and judge me for whatever you think I am, you know? I'm not Ivan Stewart, I'm not Robbie Gordon, I'm not gonna be those guys, I'm Cameron Steele. That's me, you know? And my crew, Desert Assassins, they're their crew. You know, they're whoever they wanna be. You know, sometimes you can look at our program and maybe we have some of the outcasts, you know? Maybe we're the race team of broken toys at times, as I like to say. You know, but who cares? We're putting in a big effort, and people that know that we're racing for the front of the pack. Well, the Desert Assassins are sure a hell of a lot more than just trophy truck racers. I mean, we have trophy truck racers. You know, we have two here, the 14 and 16, myself and Josh Daniel, Mike Johnson, Pat Dean. You know, a few of us race the trophy trucks. The Ashcraft family is part of the Desert Assassins. They race trophy truck. They also race Class 10. And 1600, and that's kind of the crux of what the Desert Assassins is about. You know, I race trophy trucks, I race 12 cars, 16 cars, still racing bikes. I mean, the Desert Assassins are about more than just one thing. We're about the whole desert, you know, and so I think it's cool that we can represent so many different classes. My drive is not financial, you know, I mean, yeah, we need sponsors and money to pay for the race trucks and to pay to go on rides and stuff, but My drive is just to share what it's all about, have people see the peninsula, see the desert, see short course racing, whatever it is. And I'm just so stoked to share it. You know, I do this because it's my passion, because it's in my heart, and it's because I never get tired of going to the desert. I never wake up and say, I wish I didn't have to go to the desert today, you know? It's funny coming from a kid that grew up at the beach, but I love being in the Baja.